Well, the major evidence is from the whistleblower and also from the carers who constantly come around to say, oh, you guys will be leaving at so dates. There's a meeting today. There was a time when some of our staff started crying, and I was in Gibraltar myself, and I said, why are you guys crying? They said, Lifecome will be leaving this country soon. That the colleagues just mentioned to them that they are coming from a meeting, and they told them that by the end of January, we'll be leaving. So we have series of information and also series of conversation with the whistleblower where we continually having this threat of certain dates Lifecome will be leaving the country. So, and doing our own findings, we discovered that most of the information comes from the union. Telling them, for example, recently, there's few carers who are meant to sign a new contract, and they said, oh, we're not going to be signing it because there's no point because we've been told you guys are leaving very soon. But what I realized is that there was a meeting where it was mentioned that we will watch the service till the end of January. So possibly some people just pick that as the termination notice, and it begins to spread that across the board. So we have overwhelming information about Lifecome will be leaving the country soon, and our staff, the office staff, they all the time are panicked that, oh, this contract will be terminated very soon, and they get worried all the time.
Okay, we heard the Minister for Health and Care, Gemma Arias Vasquez, tell Parliament, I think it was in February, that the government was not satisfied with the standard of care being provided by Lifecome Care. And contractually, there are certain obligations. And what they were doing is they were looking to see, they'd sent you a letter, and they were looking to see where the service was failing. So can I ask you a question? Do you feel that your service has fallen below the standard that was expected of you? And if so, why and where?
Yes, I believe that the minister must have a very cogent reason for saying that. But like you ask, there must be a reason if we are failing in some areas. And I will not take much of your time, but I would like to take you back to the beginning of this contract. When we came to Gibraltar, we had a contract with the government. And we were invited by the Unite for a meeting on behalf of the staff. We are happy with that. When we got there, after some level of conversation, Unite came with another contract, which is called collective agreement, which does not align with the contract from government. We don't determine the price that a carer is going to, we don't determine any benefit to the carers. It is determined already in our contract. Government has already made it clear how much a carer will earn, how much we will pay them, how much is our own charges as the manager. We are just a manager. This has to be clear. We are not the one that determines what benefits goes to the carers. So when they gave us this collective agreement, I told the union, have you seen the agreement awarded by the government to Lifecome? Because if the agreement awarded to Lifecome does not align with your collective agreement, there's no way it's going to work. That is where this problem started from. And we were able to present this collective agreement to the government, and the government said we were not aware of any existing collective agreement. If not, we will have included this in your tender. So the next thing that happened was there's a campaign that, oh, this new employer, this new company has refused to honor collective agreements. There is no way we can honor what we don't even know about. We are actually very new there. So they instigated the staff against the company. The staffs are not the problem. Carers are not the problem. Personally, I have a very good respect for the carers. But the carers are filled with negative information. What do we expect them to do? We are managing the carers. When the carers fails, we fail. Don't forget that the previous employer are the original company that recruited this carer. So there will be a level of loyalty to them. There will be solidarity to them, to the company that recruited them. So initially, they weren't feeling comfortable for government changing their employer, because even it happens to us in the UK. We do lose contract, we gain contract. Sometimes we had to advise our carer that, look, you have to settle down with your new employer, because that is the way the business works, because they are trying to show certain level of solidarity. So it is human that the carers, we have the solidarity for the original employer, which has now been transferred to a new employer. And now coming again and saying the new employer does not honor your collective agreement. They are trying to take away your benefit. That is not our role. We only manage. So this is the beginning of the problem. This is the foundation of what we are seeing today. And that's where the failure could come, because carers, we don't have, most of the carers, I can tell you, they are more staff of a union than Lifecome. They don't listen to us because they never see us as employer.
Okay, well, let me ask you one question about this collective agreement. Is this something that you as a company that now manages the service can take on? Or as far as you're concerned, your obligation is to honor the contract that you signed with the government?
So what we did was to take this collective agreement to the government and say, this is what is on ground. The government was very nice enough to accommodate most of the requests in this contract, and our contract was updated. And the contract now accommodates most of the requirements or the requests in the collective agreement. So the government too did not say no, rather the government complied and agreed with it. But the question is, after the MOU has been signed, then why does the union keep on having day-to-day meeting with day-to-day operations with the carer, and the carer never settle down with their new employer? And that's the problem. Why do you have everyday meetings? What do you discuss on a daily basis with them when they are meant to be at their job?
Let me ask you about some of the problems some of the carers say that they are experiencing, and some of the issues, for example, that have come up, such as 0-hour contracts. What are you obliged to offer 0-hour contracts? Now, is that your decision, or is that what you have taken on board?
Correct. That's what we've taken on board by the government. Government determine if it is a 0-hour contract or if it is a hour contract. We can determine that. That's the responsibility of the government. Government needs to just give us instruction. You have to change this contract, because it also comes with a cost to government.
Right. Okay. So the 0-hour wasn't your decision. It was what you were passed on to contractually by the government.
Thank you, ma'am. That is the point. We are not we did not determine any benefit. It has been predetermined by the government in the contract.
One of the other issues that Unite mentioned in their press statement was the fact that the app, now we had an interview with Ortega Owumi on Viewpoint, and she spoke about the fact that only 10% of the workforce is willing to use the app, which would help the office understand who was turning up for work and who wasn't, because you'd have to scan the QR code. Now, Unite says the app crashes constantly and fails to show up-to-date information on service users or workers' rosters, resulting in services being attended by 2 carers and services being missed completely. Do you recognize that as a problem?
No, it's not a problem. We've been using the UK, European Union has been using care management system for over 20 years. And we didn't develop the app. We buy the license of the app, which is used globally. So if the app do have a downtime, it's possible. Google as a technology do have a downtime. It's possible. Their bank app do have a downtime. But that shouldn't be established as the app is crashing all the time. Then why can't the staff come to us and say, gentlemen, our hub is crashing? Why will be the union? That is an operational issue. That is not a union issue.
So have you not had any workers come up to you and say, look, I've had a problem with the app, it's not working?
No. They are very happy with it. We can provide evidence of their comment on their apps. In the beginning of the use of this app, it was blocked by the union. Why did you block the app? Oh, you give this excuse. Then the government engaged the lawyer to check if this app actually traced them or it complied with the law of Gibraltar. The law firm came back with a full report that this app complied with the law of Gibraltar. Now, you come back again and say, oh, the app is crashing. So obviously, you're looking for excuses because before that wasn't your complaint. Complaint before was, oh, it was tracking the carers. But this app is a global app. It's not just for us. It's not dedicated for us. We are just a license holder of the app.
And do they have to use this app in the UK? Do they use it on their personal devices or do they have work phones?
No, everybody is on personal devices.
So does it, when you're not in the system, it doesn't track you? That's what you're saying?
No. It's like all the functioning hub on the system, or like your Google hub or your bank hub or any common point. This is an hub for operations, strictly for operations. And that has been checked. That has been checked by the government.
Now, are you aware of some of the workers complaining that they have nowhere to spend a bit of downtime? So, for example, if they've got an hour or 2 hours in between appointments, they have nowhere where they can use the bathroom, they have nowhere where they can have something to eat. Are there any facilities provided for the carers during the day where they can, use those facilities?
So yes, that was a genuine complaint from the carers. I can confirm that, and that has been part of the complaint from the beginning, from the onset. So what we've done is to create, to get an additional space in our office where they can come in and sit down when they have such time. But the complaint now is when I'm working much far away than where our office is, how do I now walk down from all the way where I'm working to come and sit down in the office until I'm going back? So it is not something we can resolve alone. It's something that has to be looked globally, compound-wise. Yeah.
How was that issue resolved when these workers were employed with the other two providers, service providers?
No, they said that's part of their complaint. They came with that complaint, and the other providers also, to my best of my understanding, couldn't solve the problem as well. We have also actually asked all them for help for independent investigation on this matter, so that there will be proper transparency and there's nobody accusing anyone of trying to a wrong accusation. The Unite has gone beyond the mandate as a union. They are now getting involved in an operation activities of a company. We do not have relationship with our carers. The carers are wonderful people. I have a lot of respect for them. I've met them, a lot of them. We chat, we play. But if they are not settled, there are two masters here competing between Unite and Lifecome. Who do we get loyalty to? Unite mandate is for the benefits. So when the benefit fails, you come to her, you come to them. But you have taken away the carers from us completely. You are in control of it. And this is what has happened from the onset. And it's not right. With what I've been living in the United Kingdom for 2 decades, you continue saying you want to go on strike. I have never heard where carers say they want to go on strike. These are people taking care of vulnerable people. These are parents, these are fathers, these are mothers. And when you say you go on strike against Lifecome, but who is going to be really hurt? Is it the Lifecome that will hurt or the community members? So for us, that is also very new. It's not something we're used to. And another point is that we also introduce an induction and handbook for staffs to sign and to be able to have an operational manual when they get to their clients. What do we do? How do we do it? You said they shouldn't sign it. What is your business in the operations? That's an operational issue. That is not your mandate. We live with Unite for more than 15 years of Lifecome in England. We've never had one encounter of one single problem with Unite. And we've all lived there. They are there operating effectively in different cities and states, and we never have any issue with them. So why are you getting involved with an operational issue and using the pretense that, oh, you are protecting the carer? No.
Unite say that there is a lack of preparation and a lack of professionalism at Lifecome Care. Do you just want to respond to that?
Look, we are not just appointed as a company. We went through tender process, different company tender, and you do the assessment, and you came out and say we won the tender after the long process. We are CQC licensed institution. we had good for years. We have 20 contracts with different companies. Our aim of coming to Gibraltar is about passion, is about being part of the developmental objective of the country. And when we got there, and you came up with such a resistance and such a strong opposition, and you are not a political party, then any other person will be disorganized. We've sent more than 15 staffs who have gotten several awards from NHS in the UK to Gibraltar.
It's a very strong accusation from the union. It says that some workers have been subjected to endless threats and harassment. What do you say to that?
By endless threat and harassment by who?
By
myself
company,
or Ortega?
From the company. It says this coupled with endless threats from the company and the harassment many workers have been subjected to have left members with no option but to strike.
Number one, we need to know the number of their members. They should be clear. When we started, the provider told us that their members, most of their members are not union members. When we had the meeting, they said all the staff from both sides are their members, and they have to. We couldn't even have the details of who are their members till today. That's the first point. Number two, if a staff have issues with other staff, don't forget that these people know each other before. Most of our staffs have been working with these other provider, or it's a two-way process. So we are just coming in to organize, to put it together, to strategize, to put new innovation in. So these people might have personal issues. That doesn't mean that is the company's position. If any staff have issues with any other of our member staff or anything, they could contact us. They could ask us as the management. Has anybody approached the management for a fair treatment from any of our members and we have refused to answer it? No. If they approach us, we take a proactive step to make sure that we cover the right of a carer. Okay. We wouldn't allow our staff to embarrass any carer. No.
Just your final thoughts, because it looks as though this strike is going to go ahead. Do you see any way of breaking this impasse? And are you intending to meet with the government to discuss these issues?
Yes. The Unite sent us an email yesterday notifying us of the contract. We're going to be responding to them. But all these cases does not concern Lifecome because we do not determine any benefit. This contract between Unite and the workers should even be government's responsibility. Because they determine the benefit. So they are the one. Unite should approach the government. Look, this company said they cannot determine benefit. And we are not pleased with the condition of our work, of our members. So we want you to give this go-ahead to this company to do A, B, and C. Then we will oblige with instruction from the government. So for us, we are willing to do everything possible. But if it is outside our responsibility or outside our capacity or our ability, what can we do? We can't do anything. So why you now say you want to strike because of that?
Finally, a word to the workers, because many were upset over comments made during the interview with Ortega Oralusi, where she said that, a lot of them weren't using the app, there was a lot of sickness, and they felt as though the failures, if you want to call it that, they were being blamed for them. Who is to blame, in your opinion, for everything that is happening?
Well, sorry about that. I don't want to apportion blame, sincerely. But what Ortega was just trying to say is she's just trying to show her frustration. Okay, the number of sick absence from work is quite high. She's not used to that. She's our chief operating officer. So she's not used to that with our display. So it's a new thing to her. And, as an emotional person with frustration, that's why I think that's what she's trying to say. But sincerely, for me personally, I believe that the enablers who are instigating this problem should be blamed. The carers, for me, are not settled. Let the carers settle with their new employer, and you play your role to mediate when there is an intervention, when there is a need to request for more benefits, instead of you having a face-off with the Lifecome Care. Lifecome Care does not determine any benefit to the carer. That is determined by the government. They should let us do our job. most of this problem, it is because they do not allow the carers to settle with the new employer. That is the biggest problem.